I am Jennifer Green with the National Family Support Network, and I will be your moderator for today's presentation, Native American Family Resource Centers, Strengthening Families and Honoring Traditions. Have a wonderful panel of presenters today, and we're excited that they will be able to join you and share their stories. If you are joining us online via the online system, you can see in the chat, there is a link for you to access all of the handouts for today's presentation, as well as today's presentation and handouts. So there's a Dropbox link our tech will put in the chat for you. If you have joined via the phone number that Zoom has provided, we have minimized the background as best we could. If you can add any of your questions in the questions box, we will get to all of the questions at the end of today's webinar. And we also have the chat section. It's open for you to share your comments and see feedback as well. Our tech will get the link for you in just a second and put it there. I see a couple folks have not had access to the link. We'll also put the link at the end for everybody to have access. Our live tech support is here on the line with us, and they can help you as we go along during today's presentation if you have any issues that arise. All right. That is all for my announcements and housekeeping. So let's get moving with our presentation. Today, the webinar is co-hosted by two organizations, one of our funders, the Casey Family Programs, as well as Native Americans in Philanthropy. So we are glad that they have co-hosted this event. My name again is Jennifer Green. I'm the Senior Manager of Membership and Events for the National Family Support Network. And as we get started here, we're going to offer some slides, some polls. We'd like to know who's in the room with us. And so you can see a map on the screen there to note if you're from the West, the Midwest, the Northeast, or the South. If you can take a minute, take a look at the polls there. Where are you joining us from? Are you from the Northeast, the South, the Midwest, the West, or Canada? If you can take a second, we'll just give you all about 15 seconds to fill this out. And click on the poll that should pop up on your screen. I see a couple are noting in the chat. Thanks for your responses there. Thanks so much. And we did include Pacific as the West there for us. So glad to see you have joined us all the way from Hawaii. All right, we can close that poll. Thanks so much. All right, so we have a large population with us from the West today with just over half of you. We have some from the Midwest, some South representatives, as well as the Northeast. Thanks so much for filling out that poll. We're going to launch a couple more if we can launch the second poll, and we would love to know one more question for you. So this question is, what is your affiliation? If you can select one of the options there on your screen. Are you a family resource center, some other family support program, a family resource center network, government, child welfare, any other type of government, private funder, education, consultant, or other? You can select one of those options. Thanks so much. Just a couple more seconds. All right, great. We can share out those results. Who's in our room today? All right, so a quarter of you from family resource centers, and we have some other family support programs joining us as well. Network representatives of family resource center networks, a good amount from government, so good to see just about 30% there, and private funders, as well as someone from education and some consultants. Thank you so much for specifying there. We have one more poll you can select on this screen. This is the last poll. Thanks for your participation. What level do you work at? The policy or systems level, management level, program direct service, or other? You can select one of those. Thank you so much. As I mentioned before, you can use the question and answer portal on your dashboard to ask questions throughout today's webinar. We will get to questions at the end. Thanks for filling out the poll. We can share our results. All right, we are split all across on this one. So a quarter of you from policy systems level. We have some management, quarter of you, and a lot of program or direct service level. Glad to have you as part of this conversation today, and some others. If you selected other, feel free to type your response in the chat. We'd love to know, what other levels do you represent? What did we miss? Thank you so much. Wonderful. Glad to see we have such a diverse group of representatives in this room today. So over the last decade, the National Family Support Network has quadrupled in size to now have more than to have 39 member networks, which represents 38 states and the District of Columbia. And that represents more than 3,000 family resource centers that serve more than 2 million people annually. And the newest members are North Carolina, and as well as Virginia. So Virginia joined us in March, and North Carolina just joined in April. So we are glad that they have joined the National Family Support Network. The National Family Support Network mission is to promote positive outcomes for all children, families, and communities by leveraging the collective impact of state networks and championing quality family support and strengthening practices and policy. And so the vision is really saying that whole map that we just looked at, that we're turning that whole map green, and so that all families will have access to quality family support services in their communities, provided by FRCs, supported by strong networks. So here is our roadmap for today. Thank you for joining us. We will start with our Family Resource Center overview. We'll get to hear from the Forest County Potawatomi Family Resource Center, as well as the Hoopa Family Resource Center in California. We'll wrap up with some question and answers. I'll share some National Family Support Network events and resources, and we will close out with an evaluation that we are appreciative that you will take the time to fill out and share your feedback. So let's dive in. All right, so family resource centers, thousands of family resource centers have emerged organically across the country, yet their existence is still largely under the radar as America's best kept secret. And a family resource center is a community or a school-based welcoming hub of support, services, and opportunities designed to support families to be strong and successful. And the top image here is a community-based family resource center in Vermont. And on the right-hand side, you can see a school-based family resource center in Kentucky. Family resource centers work with families with an approach that's not only two-generational, but multi-generational, meaning it's serving all types of families. It's strengths-based and it's family-centered. And so multi-generational, you may have heard of two-gen or two-generational work. Well, family support is the original, not just two-gen work, but multi-gen work, as programs work with children, parents, and grandparents as well. It's strengths-based because we see families as having strengths that we want to support them to build upon. And it's family-centered because we do everything that we do has families at the center. They are designed for all families, not only low income or highly challenged ones. So the support that they provide is non-stigmatized and making it more readily accessible. And programming is provided at no cost or low cost for participants. And the strengthening families' protective factors, if you have heard of the protective factors framework, these come from the Center for the Study of Social Policy. And research has shown that these 5 protective factors, they increase family stability, enhance child development, and reduce the likelihood of child abuse and neglect. So as we're working with families, we want to support them to build these protective factors because we know that they make a positive difference. And so you can see here the protective factors are parental resilience, so building the resiliency in our parenting, Social connections, we all need friends, right? And so building those social connections, having those concrete support in times of need, like basic needs, knowledge of parenting and child development. We all need to know, how do children grow and what is developmentally appropriate, as well as the social and emotional competence of children and being able to meet their needs socially and emotionally. So here is an example of, family resource centers. They're conveniently located hubs. So they bundle and they co-locate many services that may be familiar to you, such as home visiting, evidence-based parenting education, health screenings, play groups, fatherhood groups, and family counseling and food banks. And some of the most common service areas, really, just despite their organic development and varied funding streams across the country, there's remarkably similarity in their most common service areas. So this data here, the most common service areas that we see, came from a national study that the National Family Support Network worked with the Research Institute in Colorado, and it was funded by the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. And so you can see here, parenting support. This is on a continuum, and from lighter touch to more intensive services. So parenting workshops, parenting support groups, various types of parenting support groups that parents can come together, whether they're single moms or fatherhood groups, parenting education series, using an evidence-based curriculum, and home visiting being that more intensive service, actually going into the family's homes. Another area here is access to resources. So this exists also on a continuum from that lighter touch to the more intensive services, beginning with enhanced information and referral being that lighter touch, concrete support such as basic needs, support, rental assistance, food bank, those kinds of items, and then working with families over time to address family identified goals, with the most intensive services being co-location of resources. So we have seen this with WIC centers that have been in the same space as a family resource center. So a family doesn't have to go to various places to get access to services. Child development activities is one other area that we have seen, and as well as parent leadership development, understanding that if we are able to work with parents and build their skills, so some family resource centers do that as well. So a pivotal point there. And so family resource centers not only provide programs, but they actually build communities of peer support for families to develop those social connections that reduce isolation and stress, which are highly correlated with the likelihood of child abuse. So today I have with us some presenters, a panel of presenters. So you guys can come on and turn your cameras on. We have Katie Close with the Forest County Potawatomi Family Resource Center, and Justin, you'll see them in the same window there. So hi, Katie and Justin. We have Karen Kyle, who works in California. Sorry, Katie and Justin are from Wisconsin. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. And we're just super excited to hear their story and hear about all of the work up in Wisconsin. We have Karen Kyle and Priscilla Maston, who are joining us from California, Hoopa Valley, California, and excited to have them with us as well. And Nikki Risling, who will be, unfortunately, isn't able to join us for today's presentation, but we did have the ability to capture a video and a testimony from her, so we will share that during today's webinar. All right, well, we will kick it over to Justin and Katie.
Welcome, everybody. I'm definitely honored to be a part of what's going on here with family resource centers. I know ours isn't specifically a family resource center, but we do have a family resource program. A little bit about myself. My name is Justin Shano. I work for behavioral health for the Forest County Potawatomi. I'm the community outreach coordinator for the department, but a lot of what I do is intertwined with what Katie and her team do with the family resources. So she asked me to be a part of this, and I'm definitely honored to be here today. I don't know if you want to speak a little bit about yourself, and then we can go into the slide.
Sure. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Katie Close, and like Justin said, I am here working for under the Family Services Division here for the Forest County Potawatomi Tribe, offering services to the community, and working alongside Justin has been awesome. So we're happy to be here for you today.
So first off, FCP is one of 11 federally recognized Wisconsin tribes. Our reservation consists of about 12,000 acres, and it's a lot of like checkerboard areas around Forest County. Where our hub here is in Stone Lake, which is in the middle of Forest County. And this is where we have most of our buildings that we're going to show you next. So we can go to the next slide. This is just a disclosure for our logos. I think that had to be in there for. So on the top left, you'll see the Forest County Potawatomi Community Center. And actually we're sitting in one of the offices inside of that center. That was opened this year. That was a 3-year project. It's $60 million facility that the executive council decided to pursue about, I think, 5 or 6 years ago. They wanted to get this going for the community. So this is an area where our family resource center, our behavioral health, our AODA, our education, all of these things can come together and try to help our youth a little more. And what's cool about this building is we are seeing a lot more families coming to the events that we have. I urge you to, I believe we shared a link later in the slides of our chairman speaking on the community center coming together. So I definitely urge you to watch that video. It's a beautiful facility. We provided a lot of individuals through the family resource programming that we have. They have jobs now at the community center working within the community. So it's a beautiful thing that's come about. On the top right, you have our government building. That'll be the executive building. That's where our executive council is held, a lot of our accounting and stuff. That's also a beautiful building. A lot of these buildings that went up, they have gone up in the last 20 years. So if you were to look at Forest County Potawatomi 30 years ago, you wouldn't see even a quarter of what we have today. On the bottom left, we have our Forest County Potawatomi Museum and Cultural Center. That's where we're teaching language. We have our ceremonies. There's a basement area there for our ceremonies to take place. Upstairs, we have a museum and a library. The museum is actually almost finished. I'm excited for that to finish. It should be towards the end of this summer. That should be opening up new exhibits. And I'm happy to say that the work that I do as a community outreach coordinator, I get to work a lot with the youth. We're doing a drumming group now, but a lot of those kids that I get to work with on a weekly basis, we're going to come together and actually build a wigwam. And that was the housing units that our ancestors used to have. And we're going to be building that inside of the museum. So we will be a part of contributing to the exhibits that will be showcased at the museum. And then last but not least, the Health and Wellness Center. That's my stomping grounds with behavioral health. And it's right up the street from our Family Resource Center. We have literally everything. I know I was talking with our Family Services Division Administrator yesterday, and we're working on a plan to try to get a residential facility for families to come and heal. And one of the biggest things that was brought up with a lot of our focus groups was how grateful everybody was within our foster families, within families in the community, that Potawatomi has everything that we need right in one place. So if we're able to establish a residential facility, we don't have to send people out to get different services because we offer all of those services in one area. If we could go to the next slide. This is just a few pictures from around us. Our winter picture should be a lot bigger than that because we have most of the year is winter up here. But it's definitely a beautiful area, and this is one thing I'm excited for is we take our youth and our families and we try to get them outdoors to appreciate the things that they may see on a daily basis and overlook. Next slide, please. So these are going to be some of the questions that I'm going to end up handing it over to Katie here to finish up. But these are some of the questions that we're going to answer today. Why does Forest County Potawatomi have programming? What are the mission and vision statements for its Family Services Division? How does the programming work? How many people does the programming serve? And is it sustainable? What programs are offered and how has the community been accepting? So I actually spoke with our chairman this morning on the phone, and one of the things that we had discussed was how in the past we had plans for, okay, what are we going to spend our money on this year? So one huge change that I've seen in working with the chairman and trying to create a better environment for our tribal people, for our surrounding communities as well, is we've taken that short-sighted view out, and we've inserted a huge strategic plan within the organization as a whole. So all of these smaller pieces of education, family services, behavioral health, we're all coming together to work towards one common goal of making our community a healthier and happier place. And those strategic plans go out many years. What are we going to accomplish in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? And it continues to go like that. So the next leadership that comes in, all they have to do is come in and lead. They have a manual to what the tribe as a whole is trying to accomplish moving forward. So we're very grateful to have a strategic plan on how we can continue to grow programming to help individuals in our community. So I'd love to hand it over to Katie. She's a little more well-versed on what specifically happens in family services. I'm just able to utilize a lot of the things that they provide. So I want to thank you guys for coming today, and I hope I was insightful, and I'm looking forward to answering your questions a little bit later, but I'll hand it over to Katie.
Thank you, Justin. You can go to the next slide, Jennifer. The mission statement for the Family Services Division is to improve and maintain the welfare of Forest County Potawatomi community tribal and identified community members through the promotion of self-sufficiency and ensuring the safety of the tribe's most valuable and vulnerable citizens and assets. This is really something that we look to every day to make sure that guides us forward. Next slide. In turn, the vision statement says that the division will empower its clients to become self-aware and self-supporting through the promotion of prevention services, execution of supportive services, encouragement of cultural preservation, and strengthening of the family and community unit. And you'll see there that the words family and community are key there. Really, that is what drives me every day, what drives Justin every day to support and serve the community that we're very fortunate to be a part of. Next slide. You'll see here on this specific slide are some photographs taken from participants of parenting classes and other opportunities that have been offered in the past. You'll also notice throughout the presentation that there's a watermark on the bottom of the slides that says TTCW 2020 to 2025. I'll explain what that means. I am in charge of a grant that is titled Tribal TANF Child Welfare, or in short, TTCW. And it is a beautiful 5-year grant that has come about through the federal government that allows for direct services for the community. And through that, charting the waters of it, I've been able to collaborate with Justin here and really with anyone that sees a need in the community. So that's something I wanted to point out as well. Next slide. Some of the offerings that we have under the Family Services programming are Positive Indian Parenting, which is an evidence-based curriculum. I was certified through NICWA, the National Indian Child Welfare Association, to teach this specific program. It's designed to provide brief, culturally specific training programs for moms and dads, or also caregivers of the like. The goal is to be reminded of traditional child rearing practices and then apply those values to modern skills of parenting. You will see in the image there that little baby is super excited, and I wanted to bring that to light here. You'll also notice the flyer that is around campus to showcase where to go for if you need to. Next slide. This is where Justin and I have our support groups every Thursday, the motherhood, fatherhood, caregiver support groups. And it's really a safe space for anyone to come and share their trials or their tribulations of parenting, because it is very hard. It is something that I work to do my best at every day. Justin as well, he is a father, and it is just something that is a common denominator for anyone to come and sit in the quiet and just be for a period of time if they need. You'll see also the flyers there promoting that. And it is a voluntary opportunity as well. So, sorry, Jennifer, next slide. We also offer life skills here under the Family Resources programming, and that is where adult tribal community members come and learn how to overcome everyday challenges. It is encouraging of healthy behaviors, positive coping mechanisms, encompassing issues involving nutrition, budgeting, home care, everything involving a family, job readiness, safety, child development, communication, and family relationships. Each week, the group features a different presenter from the community, and that has come to be a very successful program. Also is the Choices program and the drumming group that Justin mentioned before. This program is for at-risk prevention and intervention of drug and alcohol and other substance services for the youth ages 10 to 17. The goal is really to promote healthy living, and you'll see in the photos there are a couple of students engaging in braiding sweetgrass, and then you'll see yours truly here drumming with his son. This summer, I hope to offer a program that has been offered in the past called Play Shop. It's an opportunity for anyone to bring their kids and just play and learn through playing. We all know that the evidence and the science behind it is that you learn by doing, and this is an opportunity for parents to nurture that special bond with their kiddos, involving music, crafts, snacks, story time, and just lots of messy play. You'll see in the images there in past Easter egg hunts, and just hay rides in October, things of that nature. So that will be starting up this summer. So some of the data behind these programs is on this slide here. And the reason it says circa September of 2021 is because that's when I began charting the waters of this grant and realizing what could be. So far, since September, the very beginning of it all till now, 28 plus moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas, aunties, uncles have participated in the parenting education. And that is something I'm very, very proud of. I don't judge by any means. I am alongside them in their journey, and I'm meeting them where they're at. And I am a mom too, and I learn just as much as I do with them in their sessions with me. So it's really been a remarkable experience. There have been 150 plus youth participating in the Choices program. Justin can speak to the drumming program, over 15 participants, and that is growing every week. I believe you offer that.
Yeah, I think we started it 4 months ago. So we started with 3 and now we're at 16 and growing. So it's definitely an amazing thing that's going on. We might need more than one drum, which we already have. So we're excited to get 2 drums going.
Yeah.
But
Powerful, powerful cathartic stuff, and a healthy outlet for kids and adults. And then last but not least, the bullet there says active participation in the motherhood and fatherhood support groups and life skills, and we're growing. So really, I know that the expiration date for the grant is 2025, but I hope to see this begin a long line of sustainability for the Family Resource Center here. Next slide. This is some testimony from a participant of mine, and she just really, in short, is thankful for the offerings. She's been encouraged, she's been showing up, she's trying, she is really something special. Next slide. And also just similar to what she had mentioned in that last slide, you can read along too, but she just is also getting the word out that we are here for you, for anyone who needs it. It's not a scary place. It may feel in the journey of wherever you are in your life, you may feel like you can't do it, but Justin and I are here to help you along that way. Next slide. That is a beautiful shot of one of the views in our community center. You will also just see testimony on this slide from participants that have experienced positivity from the programming, be it education, be it in the support group, things of that nature. Next slide. And in this, I want to give credit to all of the Forest County Potawatomi staff members that have helped me in my journey. Justin, I couldn't do it without him. The Forest County Potawatomi Community Center, that is a YouTube link that I encourage you all to watch. Justin touched on that before, but really is a powerful video. The literacy link is a shout out to Mag Literacy, which is a nonprofit in Madison, Wisconsin that reached out to us for free books. And I, of course, took that offer and ran with it. So we were donated over 300 books and given across to our education students here on campus, and also to the moms and dads in the groups. And finally, I recently found a gem of a place called the Supporting Families Together Association. And I want to shout out everyone in Madison who's helped along the way, and just feeling the support from afar means more than I'll ever be able to say. So thank you, Connie, and thank you, Julie.
I guess I just want to add one more thing. I know there's a lot of individuals from all over the country that are on this seminar here. So we, or myself, I usually go out to different areas to try and learn about more resources that we could bring back to our community. But if there's anybody out there that would be interested, we are always welcoming to individuals coming from the outside community to learn more about our programming, so that you can we can help you guys build that in your community. So you have our contact information. Shoot us an email if you'd like to come visit. We can set you up for a night and get you the stuff that you need so you guys can do these types of things in your community.
And I don't know if you've ever experienced a Wisconsin cheese curd, but they are delicious. So thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Justin and Katie, for sharing about Forest County Potawatomi. And so for our next presenters, we have Priscilla Maston and Karen Kyle, who will share about the Hoopa Family Resource Center in California.
So again, my name is Karen Kyle. I'm the TANF Administrative Officer for the TANF program here. And we are honored to present to you guys on our Hoopa Family Resource Center.
I'm Priscilla Maston, the Resource Specialist for our Hoopa Family Resource Center. The Hoopa Family Resource Center is located on the Hoopa Reservation in Humboldt County, which is roughly 4,052 miles squared on the largest land-based reservation in California, along Highway East and the beautiful Trinity River. Our current population is 3,200 community members, which are native and non-natives. To know what to do during the summertime would be like swimming, camping, fishing. Like I said before, we're in a very, very small community. We have one store, one gas station, one bank. So there's not a lot of things for our youth to do. So we do a lot of nature outdoor activities. And unfortunately, in our community, we don't have a lot of options for grocery shopping, for clothing shopping. Our nearest mall is roughly about an hour away. Yeah, so we're a very, very close community. And like I said, we're about an hour away from any, if you're craving fast food, you got to drive an hour for it. You want variety for grocery shopping, it's also an hour. Another thing about our community is we're surrounded by trees and mountains. Our valley is actually like, it looks like it's in a bowl of mountains. It's a beautiful place to live. It's a great community and everyone's very close. Next slide. So our mission is to provide social, emotional, physical, and mental support to enhance children and families in the community, and to improve the effectiveness of community and tribal programs by connecting children and families with the services they need. But more importantly, the HFRC's main goal is to provide as many services to our families as possible. So that could be basic needs such as if they need an emergency food box, if they need help with hygiene, it could be shampoo, laundry. We do like brooms, mops, anything you could really need. And another service people come in for is our laundry vouchers, our gas vouchers, and we also do referrals for more specific needs with our clinic here in the Valley, which is Kamau Medical Center. And we refer them for social, emotional, physical, mental health programs, or any other informational sources that we believe will benefit our families. Because the most important thing is that not only our families, but the youth, the couples, the elders, the single individuals are receiving the services they need to better their overall well-being, to live the healthy, happy lifestyles they deserve, and to know that they're not alone, because I believe when we come closer as a community, we're stronger as a community. Next slide, please.
One of the goals for the Hoopa Family Resource Center are to ensure the safety and well-being of children by strengthening the collaboration between the Hoopa Valley Tribal Departments, Child Welfare Services of Humboldt County, and other social service agencies serving families in our community. So the County of Humboldt has a Department of Health and Human Services outstation where local community members don't have to travel to the coast, which again is an hour away. They can just go right here within 2 miles to access like CalFresh services or CalWorks services. We also work in collaboration with the Women, Infant, and Children program, so they can access their WIC benefits. Some other goals of the Hoopa Family Resource Center are to provide up-to-date information on community events and activities within the community and surrounding areas here near the reservation, and to provide interactive and positive family activities. So some of the activities that we provide are family movie nights, healthy cooking, food preservation classes, budgeting classes, and these classes again are open to everyone here on the reservation, and we serve both youth and adults. Another goal is to provide temporary assistance for needy families, also known as TANF, CalWorks, Welfare to Work Outreach Services, and to provide an easy, accessible community resource center. So Hoopa is one of 15 other family resource centers within Humboldt County, so we're very large. And some of the family resource centers are school-based. They could be affiliated with a clinic. Like us, we're a community FRC. So, and we're the only Native American tribal-run family resource center in Humboldt County. But of course, all the other resource centers do service, Native families in their own communities. Next slide. So how we got started. The Hoopa Family Resource Center started originally as a tribal TANF child welfare coordination grant. So similar to Forest County Potawatomi, they have that same grant. We initially started with that grant, so it's kind of cool to see that they started, and we're So we started as that grant ended, and we're now under the umbrella of the Hoopa Valley Tribal TANF program. And so our operational funding is provided by the Hoopa Tribal TANF program. And it originally started off just serving Hoopa Tribal TANF participants. The Hoopa Family Resource Center then joined the Humboldt Network Family Resource Centers in fiscal year 2013 and 2014. And we received initially $20,000 to provide services, whether that's, like Priscilla had mentioned, emergency food, gas vouchers, those kinds of things. And those were then offered to all residents on the Hoopa Valley Reservation. So currently, Hoopa TANF, our funding sources are Hoopa TANF pays 75% of Priscilla's wages, and the Hoopa Family Resource Center pays 25% of the personnel costs. So it's projected for fiscal year 22-23 that the Humboldt Network of Family Resource Centers funds are going to be $50,400. So it's a big jump from $20,000 to $50,000. So we're very thankful for that and for that partnership. So again, Hoopa TANF does pay partial personnel wages, as I mentioned, building, utility, and office supply costs. So as a member of the Humboldt Network of Family Resource Centers, we are provided opportunities for other additional funding, grants, resources. So we're appreciative of that as well. And at this time, the Hoopa Family Resource Center continues to serve both Native and non-Native residents who live on the reservation here. And then we also serve other neighboring tribes. Because like I said, the other tribes do not have a family resource center. So we try to help. We don't really deny anybody. I think it's important to be open and serve your fellow community members.
On this slide, you will see not only some of the services we offer to the community, but our program data from the last 3 months, which was January, February, and March. It's our most recent data. And some of the services we offer are food box day, emergency food box, supplemental food box, backpack for kids program, community events, computer access, copies, phone, fax, clothing closet, supportive services, gas vouchers and bus tickets, diapers and wipes, court papers, notary assistance, differential response referrals, CalFresh, medical forms, and TANF pandemic emergency assistance and utility assistance. I will address some of these in further detail. So let's see. I'll do the supportive services. The supportive services, basically we assist people to get their ID or their driver's license. If it's a renewal, we'll pay for the fees. We help people work towards earning their GED. We also offer, like I said before, laundry vouchers. They're every 30 days based on family size. It comes with the laundry soap, any other thing they need for, washing their clothes. And we also offer hygiene, which could be, shampoo, laundry detergent, brooms, mops, toothbrush, toothpaste, whatever they need during that time. And also another big thing we do is differential responses. Basically, the referrals sent from Child and Family Welfare Services are from the county, and they refer families who could use further assistance. It's usually cases that are like before child neglect cases are filed against them. So it's my job to reach out these families and give them the services they need, offer what we have for our facility. Sometimes I find flyers that are more specific to that case, and I try to reach out as best as I can to get these families to receive help. So it doesn't get to be that far of a child neglect case, because that's hard coming back from, and we'd like to stop it before it gets that far. Let's see. Think of another one I want to describe. Oh, I'll do the gas vouchers and the bus tickets. So recently, we no longer have buses in our area. It was called the KT Net. So our gas vouchers are really important to the community because, like I said before, we have limited options to go shopping, for groceries. Our grocery stores prices are pretty high, and we have a lot of low-income families who just can't afford it. So by us giving them, we do a $30 gas voucher every month for CalFresh participants, and they can go to the coast, which is about an hour away. They could, access grocery stores with better pricing for them. They can, get more food for the money that they have. And I think that's very important. It's very popular for our resource center. On this slide, you'll see our community partners. We have so many services, so there's no way we could do it by ourselves. I'll list off a few. So there's the Hoopa Valley Tribe, the Hoopa Valley Tribal TANF Program, the Humboldt Network of Family Resource Centers, Department of Health and Human Services, Food for People, Betty Chin Homeless Foundation, the Salvation Army, Kamau Medical Center, Klamath and Trinity Joint Unified School District, the Willow Creek Community Resource Center, Willow Creek Public Health Branch, Two Feathers Native American Family Services, Native American Fatherhood and Family Association, also known as NAFA, and Changing Tides. And there's a few more we couldn't fit on the slide. Let's see, I'll go in further detail for Food for People. So Food for People, they're awesome. They distribute all the food for our food box day we do monthly, our emergency food boxes, we call them USDA foods, and our backpack program. And also they do an outreach day a week after our food box day in our main area, which we call downtown, in front of our grocery store. And they always bring fresh veggies, they do dairy products, they do fruit, boxes of food. I was just down there yesterday and there was a great come out. People were excited. It's just great for our community all around. And like I said, the backpack program, as of now, we serve 32 children, and these are children who may not have the foods or their needs met over the weekend. So we try to supply them with food to last them over the weekend until their next week of school. They're referred from their teachers or school staff, and we work with the school staff to distribute these bags of food to the kids that need them. And the last one I would like to go in further detail would be the Betty Chin Homeless Foundation and the Salvation Army. So they're great foundations. They help us by providing holiday food baskets. So the food baskets that they offer are usually for Christmas, Thanksgiving. Our most recent food basket we had was for Easter, and we had 45 families we assisted with. So the families received a great huge ham, and they had potatoes and all the sides to go with it to have a great family dinner. Which is just awesome. Our families appreciate it. We have some photos of it. And that's all I got to say. It's awesome. We appreciate our community partners a lot. Next slide, please.
All right, so some of the cultural components that I'd like to share with you all is the Hoopa Family Resource Center works with our partner, the Native American Fatherhood and Families Association. So they have a Native focused curriculum. Right now, me and Priscilla are both certified for all three of these curriculums. Fatherhood is sacred and motherhood is sacred. Linking generations by strengthening relationships and addressing family violence and abuse. So I'd like to say that this curriculum can be used with anybody. So it's not just Native American individuals. So we use it with all of our community members. The other cultural component I'd like to share is we offer food preservation classes for our community members. So we'd like to encourage them to harvest local foods, whether that be fish, deer meat, blackberries, huckleberries, so on and so forth. So right now we're offering a virtual food preservation class. And once individuals complete this class, they receive a canning kit, a recipe book, and jars, so they can, have a startup kit to practice and, learn how to preserve their own foods for their families. Another cultural component I like to share is classes that we offer in partnership with the Tribal TANF program here in Hoopa, which is open to all community members, not just TANF clients, but we offer dressmaking classes, basketry classes, net making, bow and arrow, necklace making, so kind of similar to what I have on here. And this is all to encourage and preserve cultural practices here within the community. And we also, in the summertime, they have what is called an Acorn and Warrior Camp, where We go and teach hygiene classes to the youth. So they have like a week-long camp out. And so we participate and coordinate classes with them as well. And then another important cultural component is to ensure that the classes and trainings, events, pamphlets, and flyers reflect tribal logos and tribal designs. And I really feel like that's important. So there is a sense of connectivity. So as you can see on our slides, most of our slides, all of our slides, we have our tribal designs, and we share some of our local traditional pictures. Like the one you see here is our tribal ceremonial boat dance. So I think that's important. I think when you have unfamiliar faces or unfamiliar events come into the community, I feel that's important. So, and another cultural component is to allow flexibility for staff and community to attend cultural ceremonies, gatherings, and funerals when needed. So some of our cultural ceremonies only happen and occur every 2 years. So such as our boat dance, like I mentioned, our white deerskin dance, and our jump dance. So it's important for us as staff to be able to participate and attend. And it's also important to allow for flexibility for, you know, if our participants have appointments with us, we want to ensure that, you know, we schedule around it or we reschedule appointments for them, because it is important for them to attend those gatherings. We are a tight-knit community here. As you know, we're small, so everybody's pretty much related to everybody. Grandparents are oftentimes raising their grandchildren. The relationships here are very close. Like cousins are considered your brothers and sisters, and so on and so forth. So that's important. Those are all important aspects. And another thing I'd like to mention is when outside entities or companies would like to work with the tribe, it's important that connection with like a tribal liaison. So that's important to have. So that way those connections, they see a familiar face, and it's not, you know, it's not so interesting, I guess. Next slide. One of our lessons learned, I would say, is we need to advocate for services and trainings offered by the County of Humboldt for our own community. Like Priscilla mentioned, Humboldt County is very large, and so sometimes we're in the far east, sometimes we get forgotten. So, you know, it's important for us to advocate and bring those services to our own community, because we are part of Humboldt. We need to learn the needs of the community, including our own visitors to the center, and to be flexible. So one thing that we use is our protective factor surveys. So we survey our incoming visitors to the facility, and, you know, we review what we can improve, what they like, what they would want to see, what kind of services that we're maybe not providing. That's really important. And in terms of being flexible, we oftentimes have training hours that are outside the regular business hours, or maybe it's during a lunch hour. And I think it's important to offer various types of ways of communication. So like I said, here small, so we use our email. Social media is big here. Word of mouth is the best way to get the word out in a small community. So just using all types of ways of communicating out to the community. The other thing is we need to create and advocate for processes that fit our own community/agency. And then to be present and part of tribal, state, and county and other agency meetings that affect community services. So by that meaning, sometimes the county will have meetings and there will be no tribal representation at the table. So it is important for the respective tribal departments to send individuals to these meetings so they can bring back services and trainings and best practices maybe, so we can all be well informed. And then think outside the box in terms of services, processes, and advocacy. And then we have, you know, the rural versus larger community in terms of confidentiality and relationships. So it's important to hold that confidentiality, those confidential issues within our center, because you can be serving one family member and it could be a brother and sister and they don't get along. And, you know, we just need to be able to recognize those and have them not share, have us as our service providers not, you know, share information. So that's very important. The image at the bottom of your screen there is the beautiful Trinity River. That's our bridge, and you can see the tribal designs that go along the bridge there. So that happened within the last few years, and that's the Trinity River. Okay, so again, the Hoopa Family Resource Center has a resource specialist, Priscilla Maston, and she works part-time with the TANF program, and she works part-time at the Resource Center. So it's important to, you know, share the information between departments so we can better serve our clients in common. Another accomplishment that we have is we continue to attend these Humboldt County Network of Family Resource Centers to, you know, bring back services and keep abreast of important topics that's happening within the county. So part of that is we contract. The Humboldt Network of Family Resource Centers contracts with the County of Humboldt to provide all these different prevention services for families within Humboldt. So, and then another thing is we have been successfully managing several grants, community COVID-19 outreach, the Humboldt Area Foundation COVID-19 mini grants. So we just got done wrapping up 3 different mini grants with them. Housing is Key and California Family Resource Association, also known as SEFRA. So these various different grants offer different types of supportive services. I can tell you one, Housing is Key. It helps us provide utility assistance to families. That could be single persons and families both. And then lastly, we conduct monthly outreach meetings and virtual trainings to our community members. We're getting ready to start our quarterly networking meeting. So that brings all of the tribal departments together. That brings maybe some of the county representatives together to share resources and events happening in their respective departments. And then lastly, we continue to provide services to our community, to both native and non-native visitors. And then I'd like to share a little video on our parent, Nikki Risling.
Before the resource center came along, it was a struggle because I have 7 children and it was hard to get certain things and certain items, and just it was hard to get a few things. And then I had to go on the streets and bum and hustle and just hustle for stuff that I needed, just dish soap, food, just random things. And then the resource came along and it was very awesome. Like, they helped in many ways. Like, I got a lot of stuff accomplished from Resource Center. Like, I needed help with my social security cards, my birth certificates. I got all that stuff, and they were very helpful. And if I needed anything, like every other Thursday, our third Thursday, we would get a food box. But even if you needed something before then, you can come here and then you would sign a paper and they would help you. And they would give you like good stuff, like really, when stuff you needed, like food, meat products, cheese, just stuff that you needed, toothpaste, toothbrushes, clothes. They also helped me pay like half of my fines. I went to this program and the Resource Center helped me. They helped me pay like more than half of my fines, and it was really awesome. Like, I was very thankful for the Resource Center for helping me. And job opportunities. You can come here to find out if there's any job openings. They'll help you with the paperwork. They help you get through like all the paperwork. Even if you want to get on unemployment, they help you get on. They're just, Resource Center is just the best. I love it. It's been a big help. And laundry, they help me with my laundry. They help me do a lot of things. and that I had to do, and I was scared I wasn't gonna be able to do it or have a place to do it. And I came to the resource center, and there was a class there. It was Motherhood Sacred, and I finished it, and I got a certificate, and it helped me with, you know, getting my kids, keeping my kids in my custody. The lady that did it, and she kept on me the whole time, because if I would have missed one class, I would have had to redo the whole thing. And so I was on it. She came and picked us up. That was another thing too. They help with rides and gas vouchers and stuff. And resource center is a big thing here in Hoopa. I mean, if we didn't have it, I don't think we would. A lot of people would survive, you know, seriously. And it's a good thing having this resource center here. And the incentives they have were really cool. Like we got to do this class. It was a week or 2 weeks class, and I earned a crock pot to do, you know, to can stuff, and it was cool. And it went through the resource center, and I have a lot of sisters, so they followed behind me, you know. In the resource center, they were all right behind me. And if it wasn't for the resource center, they would, you know, be on a struggle themselves. And they got a lot of things done, like their Social Security, you know, all this stuff that they helped do. My sisters got it done too. And I'm just very, very, very thankful for the resource center. They're a blessing to me and my family, and they're, you know, a blessing to the community. And a lot of good people work here. I mean, Karen and Priscilla, they're always happy to help, always smiling and joking, and I love it. And it's, you know, it makes you want to come back and ask for help. And and so yeah, I love this resource center, and we should keep this resource center open 24/7. Thank you.
And to finish up our presentation, we just like to show some of the fun photos and activities that we provided to the community. On the top left, you'll see our graduates from Fatherhood and Motherhood is Sacred, proudly holding up their certificates. In the middle, you'll see me holding an ornament that I made. We did community outreach downtown for Christmas. Our ornament kits we gave to the children to put together. And on our top right, we have the Hoopa Family Resource Center outreach tent. That's what it usually looks like when we do outreach downtown. That was for Halloween. We did pumpkins, and there was pumpkin carving kits. On the bottom left, you will see a shelter in place activity with this happy family. They're completing a puzzle. In the center, you will see a child riding a bike, but there's actually a blender attached to the bike. And it's just to promote like healthy lifestyles and exercise, and he gets a nice snack at the end, so that's great too. And lastly, the bottom right photo is images of the holiday baskets that Betty Chin Foundation supplies. I believe in that photo we served 30 families for Thanksgiving.
And again, my name is Karen Kyle, and thank you for watching our presentation. Here's our contact information. The Hoopa Family Resource Center is under the Hoopa TANF Facebook page, so you can learn about a lot of our events. And I just want to share the photo at the bottom. On the left-hand side is the Hoopa Valley. So it's about a 15-minute drive up to the top of the hill to capture that shot. And then on the right-hand side is our traditional homes called the juntas, and that's where some of our traditional ceremonies take place. That's actually the men's camp where they get dressed. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen and Priscilla. I know we're bumping up to time, but I did want to take a minute and answer a couple questions that we had come in, if I can, and understand that if you do need to go, because we're right at the time, there will be an evaluation for you all to take a minute to fill it out, give our presenters their feedback about what you loved about it. If you have any additional questions, we'll be sharing the results with them as well, if you want to learn anything else. But a quick question, just overarching here, is really talking about how to best outreach and engage with Native Americans that reside in urban areas, being that there are diversity or tribal groups, and really how to best understand and be culturally appropriate as an outsider, the various parenting styles and the family expectations or definitions and communication styles. So wanted to see if either one of you would like to take that question.
So I can share a little bit. So the other hat that I mentioned earlier that I wear is I work under the Tribal TANF program. So under the Tribal TANF program, we have quarterly state and Tribal TANF administrator meetings. And some of those areas are located in urban areas. And so oftentimes, similar to provide outreach is finding that contact person, the liaison that can be that person in between who you're trying to reach or learn about, I guess you could say. So I would say locate your nearest tribal TANF program, because they're going to be serving all the Native American families within their own service area. So that could be, like, for instance, Sacramento is huge. It's a huge area, but that is certainly a place where somebody could, and tribal TANFs all over the US, in case you didn't know. And that's what I would say, is go to your nearest, or FRC. You can look us up, any FRC, I believe. We have a map, right, Jennifer? So yeah, I hope that was
Yes.
helpful.
Yeah, on the National Family Support Network, there's a map to all of the member networks of the National Family Support Network. So I saw a question about Virginia. Virginia is a member of ours, and so you can have a point of contact there to contact within your state and find a local family resource center in your area. Justin and Katie, did you want to share anything additional on that question? Reaching the urban population?
Yeah, I would just, going off of what Karen said, really just reach out and not be afraid to do that, because it's so much easier to work smarter than harder. And if you just reach out and ask for help, there will be hopefully people that are willing to find what you need. And don't stop trying. Just because you might strike out in one avenue, there's got to be something, your state agency, people that you work alongside, that, I mean, it may feel like siloed work at times, but there are people out there that are there to collaborate with. It's just a matter of finding who that is.
And I can only speak for the Potawatomi tribe, but we have individuals in Milwaukee, Green Bay, some in Oklahoma, Kansas. I guess if you know what tribe they're from, I know most tribes are willing to go wherever their people are. So like myself included, I'll go anywhere if I need to make contact with one of our tribal members. One instance was we had an individual in Oklahoma that needed our assistance. We had two of our members got in a vehicle and they drove to Oklahoma. They had to get back here, so they brought them back here. So it's things like that. And then I didn't know about the tribal TANF programs having that network. So that's very helpful for us as well.
Thank you. And I wanted to go back to, Nikki referenced a document or a paper that is required to sign. And so I was curious if Karen or Priscilla can share about is there a specific paper or something that is required in your Family Resource Center?
So it depends. Not quite sure what they're referencing, but so to access service, we have simple forms, like say Nikki needed help with the food she mentioned. We do have forms that they sign up. They do have to be income qualified, but like I said, we don't really turn people down because most of our residents here are at poverty level. So we have various different forms for different types of service, diapers, identification, but we try to make them to where they're similar. Hopefully one day my dream is to have just one form so they can they can check what services they're coming for.
Thank you, Karen.
I think
Katie?
I think the form that she was talking about was our emergency food box and just our food box day forms. So when we fill out for the whole year, all along.
Great. Thank you so much, Priscilla. Katie, I want to go to you for 1 second as well. And there's a comment here wondering if you are actually a member of the Potawatomi Nation. And if not, what was successful in developing a relationship and trust with the Potawatomi Nation? I know we discussed this before, so I'd love you to share with the audience.
Yes, I am not a member of the Potawatomi Nation. My background is in education. I was an English teacher for 11 years. So moving into this role here at Forest County Potawatomi, I took a lot from my career as an educator, and as a human being, my nature is to go into any situation open-minded and build trust through doing and working alongside these people, working with them, and just building a rapport over time. It's not something that I know happens overnight. It takes time, but I think just when you meet people, at least for me, I can gauge their energy and tell whether they're being inauthentic or not. And I like to believe that I come across as just honest and real and there to help. And so I champion that in the corners of my participants, because I know that I'm white, and I know that our backgrounds are very different, but I can help in the ways that I can, and I'm there if they need it. So I hope that answers your question.
I know I guess from the other perspective of it, the first thing she did right was she called me. I have a lot of people that trust me in the community. So when she included me with doing the group, they come in, they see a familiar face, but also one thing that she definitely did right was it wasn't a 9 to 5 thing. At 5 o'clock, she didn't clock out and go home and say, whatever with you guys until tomorrow. So she would be involved with a lot of like storytelling times or community events. She would be participating in those events where she would create that trust with the community. And I think it's done her very well.
Thanks, Katie and Justin. Well, let's give our presenters a wonderful round of applause. And we just thank you all for sharing your story, sharing what is happening in California and Wisconsin, and understanding that family resource centers across the nation can really learn from your stories and your lessons learned, as well as ideas and ways to incorporate this in their states as well, and who to connect with. So thank you again for being a part of this webinar Wednesday. And we look forward to connecting in the future. I'm going to share a few resources here. We have another upcoming webinar Wednesday on May 4th. If you'd like to join us, check out the webinar Wednesday page. This will give an overview of the standards of quality for family strengthening and support. We also have standard certification trainings that we offer every 4th Thursday and Friday of each month. So the next one coming up in May, as well as June, with the deadlines there on the screen. We encourage you to check out the website and register for those upcoming opportunities, as well as seeing if your state has this offering in your state as well. We also have developing and sustaining effective parent advisory committee trainings. These happen every 4th Tuesday and Wednesday of each month. It's focused for staff who are setting up parent advisory committees. So we encourage you to check this out. This is the unique and only training that is geared for staff to be able to set up parent advisory committees or PAC trainings. So check out the website. And this offering is unique also because it's co-trained with not only a National Family Support Network staff member, but as well as a national parent leader. We also have an upcoming national briefing. You can see the link on our website as well to register for this on May 11th. It's really the state of the state with what's happening with national, all of the members of the National Family Support Network across the nation. You get to hear, we'll have some virtual FRC tours as well, and getting to hear some more stories. So we hope to see you at the upcoming briefing this coming month, as well as the Together for Families conference offering in October. This is a unique biennial event that will be virtual this year. It's co-hosted by the Center for the Study of Social Policy, Families Canada, as well as our organization. And it brings various stakeholders together across the US and Canada, and brings us all really under this supporting and strengthening field to really focus on best and promising practice for supporting families' advancement. So we hope to see you at the upcoming conference, but prior to that, our kickoff event happens on May 19th. You won't want to miss it. There are opportunities for you to win exciting prizes as well as a conference registration. So check out the website and get registered for that. We'll have various prizes, one of our plenary, Dr. Dana Suskin's book, Parent Nation, as well as a gift card for Ireland food. And so we are super excited to kick off this event and be able to connect with everyone around what is so important with supporting families. We also have resources and services available. We have Family Resource Center overviews, our member network snapshots, so you can learn more about all of our members here and learn about their outcomes and just who they are and what they represent and do in their states and how to connect with them. So check out our website for more resources. Here is my contact information. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out. All of the slides as well as resources are available in the Dropbox link in the chat. So we encourage you to take a click on that link and access those resources. All of the slides today and the materials, as well as this recording, will be on the website at this time tomorrow. So check it out if you want to go back and rewatch or share with a colleague or friend. And once again, if you can take a minute, fill out our evaluation survey. We are so grateful that you joined us for today's presentation, our webinar Wednesday series, and we hope to see you at a future offering coming up in next month. But we offer these all throughout the year with more Family Resource Center topics to be covered on future webinars. So check out the website for how to register for those upcoming events. Thank you again, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. Bye.